I used to say to myself that when I let things and I let my mind wander and I let my mind take me to those dark places of doubt and fear, I was abusing myself. And I would tell a person, don't abuse yourself, trust God.
Hello, I'm Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. TAS. Welcome to this edition of Talk with TAS. Today we will have Kate Thurman joining us. Kate is a visionary leader. She is an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. She's the type of person that has an idea and then she makes it a reality. How are you, Kate?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing well. I am doing well. Kate, well, yes, angle your camera just a little bit. So yes, I can see you a little bit. That yes, Kate, 'cause you know you're beautiful, gorgeous. So
Thank you.
I,
Thank you,
I
beautiful.
want them to
Thank
be
you.
able to see you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, whenever we get together, it's a lot of fun.
It is very much.
And Cyrus says, "Hey, Kate, glad to see you two together."
Hey, Cyrus.
All right, Kate. As I was telling them that, and welcome to the Talk with Taz, I was telling them that you're a visionary leader. You know, you're an international best-selling author, you're a TV producer, you're a philanthropist. You know, also you're the president of Angelically Blessed, Inc., and the founder of Faith Safe Haven Women's Ministry. But I guess I would say for the last 20 years, you've had a mission to make your community better. You know, working with women, but you also, you know, with your husband Chris, you guys also work with men also. But your focus has become
Mhm.
homelessness, and that has been the mission that you've been on. And I know that that's very personal
Mhm.
for you. It's very personal for you. So I guess, Kate, I wanna kick us off by asking this question. Can you share a pivotal moment in your life when your faith helped you to turn a significant challenge into an opportunity for growth for you or maybe for others?
I think I shared this with you. I'll talk about one of the things. It's been several instances, but one of the things was um, having a house fire. I went to work. Only two people was out of the house. That was my daughter Lakithia and myself. I went to work. I drove an hour and 15 minutes to get to work. And I got a call at 11. I had been to work maybe 3 hours and said, your house is on fire. And I remember saying, who house? Your house. And I had to drive. And mind you, it was traffic coming back. So I had to drive. With the traffic, it took me an hour and 40 minutes to get home. In that traffic, thinking about what could be or what I was going to see when I got home. By the time I got in my subdivision, I saw the fire trucks. I saw the police, and it's like I saw them, but I didn't see them. And I was praying the whole while, on knowing God had my family. God, they were going to be okay. Well, I get home. They had taken the box off the wall, the power box. There was no water. Red Cross gave us $1,500 and sent us on our way, and told us that all of the breathing machines, because a lot of us have asthma, wasn't going to work. We had to replace the breathing machine in order to breathe. Our dog died.
Mm.
It was a lot, but I thank God for that experience, because having that experience and living in a hotel for 2 months, not having anyone to give us anything, we drained our 401k. And we had no help from no one. And that moment, and knowing that, and the whole time knowing that God had me, God kept me, God kept my family. They were safe, they were sound. My son has very complex asthma, very, very complex asthma. So, he's in and out of the hospital a lot. Just knowing that it was God that kept us. And from that experience, when we got ready to start Angelically Blessed, I remember telling someone today, actually it was today, I was talking with someone, and I told them, I know how it feels. This is why we do what we do. I was there. We didn't just wake up and say we want to start a nonprofit. Both Chris and I are givers and we just love to give. But going through that, and that was the moment in my life where I knew once again, because it wasn't the only moment when I knew God had me. That was once again. And that's why we started Angelically Blessed. That was one of the pivotal moments in my life. That experience.
Kate, I know your story, and I that's the reason I say you're a visionary leader. You're a philanthropist. You give from your heart. And having walked that walk, you know what it's like to be homeless. Your being homeless may have been for 2 or 3 months, but you know what that's like because basically you guys had to rebuild everything. You talk about the breathing equipment. Well, $1,500, that was the breathing equipment, you know, because that was a necessity that you had to have right then and emptying your 401k. And as you said, that's just one instance, but it laid the foundation because, me, I believe that everything is preparation for the next
Mm-hmm.
thing. And you and Chris, you're givers, but you understand what it is on so many levels that people feel when they're
Mm-hmm.
homeless. That helplessness, the embarrassment, all the things that they're dealing with, you have experienced it. And as the folks would say in the street, you got street cred. And
Yes.
that makes the difference
Mm-hmm.
because someone else can talk about it. But when you've lived it, that lived experience, that makes all the difference in the world. And that's the reason why, because, this just happens to be Giving Week. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday. That's the reason why I think it's so important for people to understand what your mission is
Mm-hmm.
and why you do the work that you do as it relates to Angelically Blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And you have several ministries, but I know that homelessness is a very important mission for you, a part of your ministry. And we're going into the cold season,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about individuals who may be couch surfing,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they're going from house to house, or they may actually be in a shelter, or they may not have any type of shelter over them during the cold nights.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to come back to that, but what what piece of advice would you give from your faith journey that could instantly transform someone's life? And by that, I mean, we know it doesn't happen like that, but when we change the mindset, that then leads them on the path to that transformation. So, what piece of advice from your faith journey would you give to someone that would help them change their trajectory?
You know, Dr. Taz, I actually love that question because I used to say to myself that when I let things and I let my mind wander and I let my mind take me to those dark places of doubt and fear, I was abusing myself. And I would tell a person, don't abuse yourself. Trust God. I
Mhm,
always say trust God, but you never know what's gonna happen in the midnight hour, is what I say.
mhm,
Just wait till the midnight hour. You know, and I think I told someone this just 2 days ago. I was put my Faith Safe Haven Women's Ministry hat on, and I said those exact things. I said, you know, when you stop abusing yourself, and it's not physical,
mhm.
it's mental.
The mental.
It's like you just said, you change your mindset,
Mhm,
you change how you think, how you feel, how you act. And when you say you trust God, go to sleep and wake back up.
mhm,
Cause he gonna do it. Watch him. Won't he do it? Watch and
mhm.
see him do it.
He
I
will.
advise people all the time.
And and we've got thank you, Stacy. Stacy Thomas is here with us too. She's like, I know, right? She's like, hello, beautiful ladies. And you're so right. You as you said, stop abusing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's the mission I'm on now, because that's another way of saying respect.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I am constantly pouring negative talk into my brain, which
Absolutely.
means it is in my brain that's coming out, that's going into my heart,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what's going to manifest, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm all about, is this negativity. And like you said, stop or don't abuse yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Trust in God.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a hard thing to do. But I just believe that when you are going through the struggle with the loss of your home, that you activated that
Mm-hmm.
in your heart and in your mind, because how else could you get through it? Because that's not a path that you'd walked before.
Mm-mm.
So, you had to trust him. And as you said, go to sleep, wake up, knowing that he's moving behind. I like to talk about behind the scene, the
Mm-hmm.
SCE, because we can't see it, but he's back there moving things around in our favor. So, Kate, that's a very powerful piece of advice that you would give someone. Now, over 20 years in business management, you are not new to this. You true to this. You true to.
Yes.
So when we talk about leadership and the impact of a purpose-driven leader, because when I look at the work that you're doing with Angelically Blessed, that's purpose-driven. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's something that drives you, because as you said, you're going to have to put it to the side, because you don't know what the future is going to look like, but you know that he's got it. So, when you're a purpose-driven leader who's touching so many lives, because you and Chris are touching so many lives and laying so many, planting so many seeds, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to someone else who's wanting to start a business? And, some of my folks say, just get off the bench. But
Mm-hmm.
what piece of advice would you give them? Because I think I know my purpose, and it may be my purpose, but I can't get started.
Mm.
What piece of advice would you give them as a servant driven, purpose driven leader?
So before I started a nonprofit, 20 years, I love kids. I ran my own daycare.
Mhm,
And I led with that because what I did there is I stepped out on faith. I
mhm,
had nothing, no money, no nothing. I just told people this, and I'm getting ready to start my daycare. They said they loved me, right?
mhm,
And I did a good job when I worked. I would go to work, and so I did. I stepped out on faith. So that'll be the first thing. And with Angelically Blessed and Faith Safe Haven, with the nonprofits, a little bit different.
mhm,
God placed those in my belly, just like it was God that did that. So my advice would be, first, step out on faith. I'm always gonna say pray about it. That's the second
mhm,
thing I would say. And then I would say know your purpose. Or like for me, in this last year, figuring out what my purpose, because I became a licensed mortgage loan originator in all 50 states over a year ago. And I didn't like it. So I said,
mhm,
God, I know that's not what you got for me. I said that to myself. I say this on every interview I go on. And I started praying. I started talking to Chris. So I would advise people to do just that. Talk to God and ask him what it is he wants you to do. Because even when he gave us this nonprofit, and I think I told you this too, I got it. We started it, and I know that it's my passion, it's my purpose to give back. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm walking in my true divine purpose. But it was a time, I think it was a few months ago, I had to go back to the drawing board, which is God, and I
mhm,
had to pray. Because sometimes you got to remember God is going to bring you back,
mhm,
right back there, because you start trailing off and you start doing
mhm,
what you want to do. But you got to stay on the path that God has for you. And so I gave this nonprofit right back to God, because it was Him that started. It was Him that put this in me to do, and put this in Chris to do. And when I gave him back, I started praying for the people, because originally, you know the story, and I told you, I started praying for the people, the people that's supposed to be here, right now, at
mhm.
this time. So I would advise people to always pray. I'm always gonna say
Yeah.
pray, step out on faith, trust God. But my main piece of advice is ask God what your purpose is.
Now, and Kate, thank you for that. And I want to go back. Cyrus asked a question, and I think it's a follow-up question too. When I asked about what piece of advice that you would give someone from your faith journey that could instantly transform someone's life. And you talked about not abusing yourself, trusting God, stopping the abuse. His question was, okay, but what helped you to let it go? Because again, we know that,
Mm-hmm.
and we do it for a moment. Because, and let me phrase it this way: you talked about going back to the beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
because God gave you the vision, and so you went back and you prayed and you asked for the right people to support your vision.
Mm-hmm.
But to even get to that point, how how did you let go of the other, you know, me, but mess, for lack of a better word for it? How did you let go of that other stuff that
Mm-hmm.
was preventing you, as I think about Job, from hearing what God was trying to tell you so that you could continue on the path that he had laid out for you? How did you let that noise go so that you could hear it?
Initially, you are right, and I'm glad Cyrus asked that question because initially I started to backtrack. I said pray, right,
Mm-hmm,
and I said go back to the drawing board. But so what helped me get through that, and what helped me just block that out, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I went walking, and I was thinking, Chris is supportive, so
mm-hmm,
I have the support from Chris. I have the support from my mom. I have the support from my kids, and I have a little bit more support from family now. So that is one thing that does help, especially having that support from Chris. When your significant other supports you the way that Chris supports me, oh wow, it makes you feel good. So what happened was to block out all of this,
mm-hmm.
when you get the clouded mind.
Yes.
I think I sat in this very seat and tears was just rolling down my face. I don't know if I just got finished doing an interview and I ended up going for a walk. And I ended up thinking and analyzing all of the things that had been happening, the good and the bad. And you got this side and then you got this side and you're going back and forth. You're just pulling. And I said, devil, you was a lie. You are a lie. I came and I wrote down everything that was positive, everything that was not positive.
Mm-hmm.
And first I said, God, remove the people out of my life that is not supposed to be here because everybody can't go with you.
Come on now.
He did
Mm-hmm.
that. When he did that, I started writing this stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
I started analyzing. I went down for like 2 weeks and checking off. I was just checking off. Like, you got to go. Devil, you allow. You got to go. This thought got to go. All while praying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I got a call from someone. And I talked to someone like 4 o'clock in the morning. Her name is
Oh,
Teresa.
okay.
And we talked. You remember we talked at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And I started telling you some stuff. And, Cyrus, what helped me was knowing that God sent someone because he sends people. What I asked for, I got. And
Mm-hmm.
that helped me. And I went right back to, I'm going to go right back to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I checked it off, I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I had to figure out what I was going to do with that. I was like, okay, God, I did this. Now what? It was for me at first. It was like, now what? Well, okay, I did that. Now
Mm-hmm.
what?
Now what?
Now what? And I figured out what the now what was when we sat down and we were able to say, okay, and I was reassured that I am doing good things. I am a positive person. Because sometimes you can get inside your head and you can start tearing yourself down. And I went back down there because I'm
Mm-hmm.
human. I backslid a little bit,
Yes.
and that's how I got through. God sent me people to help me and remind me that He's there. He'd heard me, and I was on the right path.
Now, Kate, that's powerful. You done said a whole lot. Tangris, and if I mispronounce it, please forgive me. She said it's worth letting go. We got to understand our position in all matters. Once we see, my God, it's easy. And she's right. And thank you, Session said it's a great interview. Sarah said, yes, we are human, and we are. So when you talk about but you went back down there again, or however you put it, we have to remain humble, you know, and you are blessed by the best, is what Sarah said. We have to remain humble, you know. And I look at it, when you did that list, you were cleaning house.
Mm-hmm.
You were cleaning house. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, nothing can come in if we got all this excess stuff there. You understand? So we got to remove some stuff. And that's literally, we have to remove stuff, because if my closet is full, I can't put nothing else
You're
in
right.
it. You understand? So let's get rid of some of that stuff that I haven't worn in a year. Then I can put some new things in. And you are actually doing the exact same thing. But even with all of that, Kate, you were still learning stuff,
Yes, ma'am.
because you learned from what had already transpired, so that when someone comes in and they're talking a different game, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't mean that as in game, but they're talking something totally different, then you got something to compare. Okay, well, they said this. Now this person's saying that. Hmm. Now, which one really made sense? Well, we know what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see what can happen on this side. Thank you, Amy Delmar PR, for joining us. And thank you, SMF Counseling, for joining us also. You know, so, you know, so what my point with all of that is, for leaders, we have to clean house. We have to
Mm-hmm.
stop like you did, clear your head, take an objective look at what's happening, and then make decisions based upon what the data is showing us, because that's what you did. And then you regrouped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about. But as you talk about, you know, then you went back there. We have to understand that in order to move forward, I believe we have to be able to go to that vulnerable state.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I can't ever be vulnerable, I'm not going to the mountaintop. I'm
Exactly.
sorry. I may go up high, but I'm not going to go to the top that I was supposed to go, because I can't sit in the space that says I don't know everything. I can't sit in that space that I don't know what to do. Okay. I can't sit in that type of space. And if you can't sit in that space, then that's a problem, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's in those spaces that we get pregnant, or the
Mm-hmm.
ideas begin to flow that we need, that are the answer to the
Mm-hmm.
questions that we've been asking, but I don't want to go there. Okay. You may not go to the mountaintop that you're trying to get to, but you'll get to a mountaintop. But we want to sustain ourselves when we're there. So before I flip back to talking about angelically blessed, there has to be something that anchors us.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about it. We've talked about it from a spiritual perspective. We talked about it somewhat from a business perspective. Are there particular practices that have been, you know, very impactful for you? I think in the Papios article, you may have mentioned prayer, meditation, but are there practices that you kind of, I look at it sometimes as a cocoon, where we insulate ourselves so that we continue to let go of the stuff that we've had with us before, or the stuff in our mind that be paralyzing us? Are there practices that you use, Kate, regularly to help you to sustain yourself?
Well, one thing that I do outside of my walking and meditation, because when I walk, that's my meditation time, my prayer time. I do listen to the music, I do read, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's conversations with positive, meaning if I call you, or I'm talking to Cyrus, or I'm talking to Stacy, if you, or if I'm talking to Chris, and being able to brainstorm in that conversation, and we could be talking about something totally different than what I'm going through in
Mm-hmm.
my business or in my head. We could talk about anything, but that sometimes that brings me back,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. It brings me back outside of my prayer, outside of my meditation. Sometimes just let my hair down and even going shopping. I used to use
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this. I know it's a little cliche, but my shopping
Yes.
it helps me. But mainly, um, just having I enjoy more now my reading outside of my meditation. But it's a different when we have different type of conversation. See, I like to have fun. I like to laugh. Laughter helps me.
Yes.
And I believe if we can laugh through it, it takes me from where I was, but a lot of times it puts me on a whole nother scale by the time I'm finished with that conversation. And then I'm up, I'm writing, I got ideas, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm just excited. And so for me, it's just as simple as just letting my hair down and relaxing. Cause I don't get to relax a lot. I wear many hats. So if I can do something as simple as relax, meditate, read my books, prayer, my walking, I absolutely love my walking. You
Okay.
see me blinking, that's how much I love it.
Okay. I need to be walking when you walking, Kate.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe we have a conversation, and then maybe
Yes.
and I do like walking. I'm gonna agree with you on that. It's just that once I stop, it's hard for me to get going. But once I start walking again, I don't want to stop because
That's
it
it.
is something about it. Those endorphins, it's something about it, and it does clear your mind, and you get a whole lot of ideas while you're out there. Yeah, so I'm with you with that. But you mentioned also laughter, and I agree, laughter does heal the soul. And, the importance, basically what you're saying is the importance of taking that time for you.
Yeah.
You said you wear many hats, but you understand in order to wear the hats, you have to take some time
Hmm.
so that you can regroup after each hat has been taken off.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, you're out of balance. And, it shows in one way or the other. Now, Kate, we've laid a foundation here. Work with me. We started with your lived experience as an individual whose home had burned. Then we talked about your servant leadership and advice that you would give to someone to transform their life, and the importance of being able to step out on faith when you are birthing anything, because we always hope that it's going to work out the way that we anticipate, but we really don't know. And then we talked about the things that you have to keep yourself grounded and rejuvenated so that you can continue to work your purpose. Now I know that angelically blessed is is everything besides Chris. It's everything. It's your babies together because you both have come together within the ministries that are up under there to reach your community. And we know that charity, starts at home, but we're supposed to spread it abroad. Talk to us a little bit more about the mission of Angelically Blessed, some of the work that you're doing, and how other people can help support the work that you guys are doing.
Okay. So our mission is to help families in need. We want to be a beacon of hope for families facing homelessness and whatever that means, whatever that looks like. We don't put it in a box. So if you need to pay your power bill, you have to make a choice. Whatever it is, if you need a room for the night, it doesn't matter. If you need food, clothes, that's our mission. That's our vision for Angelically Blessed, to be a beacon of hope, to be salvation for those in need. And you can give back to us or donate to us at angelically-blessed.com, or you can email us at angelically-blessed0811 at gmail.com. You can contact us at 770-765-6641. If you want to reach us on social media, it's Angelically Blessed, or you can reach Chris Thurman or Kate Thurman, whatever area you choose to reach out, we will reach back out to you and contact you back.
And Kate, what I'm going to ask you to do is, because you've given all that information, I probably have that information somewhere. Um, I'm going to the live. When I post the live, and I'll go back and edit, and I'll put that information there so that people will know how they can actually contact you guys, because there are a lot of people, I believe, that will support the work that you guys are doing. And I know that you've got some things that are upcoming now, because you guys are always providing toiletries. You're always going in and providing meals. You've partnered with some different organizations right now that you're getting ready to go in and provide, I think, on 2 separate days that you're going to take food to help them to serve those individuals who need that help. And, we never know when it could be us. And so I just urge the listeners to please, if you've got any opportunities on your job. I know someone yesterday who they use their job as a way to sow, if you want to use the word sow, or to give to Angelically Blessed, because some organizations will give their employees a certain amount of money, and they can use that money for a nonprofit. Or some organizations, if you put X number of dollars towards something, a nonprofit, then the organization will put a certain percentage behind it. So, depending upon how things work at your job, I really ask you to please consider Angelically Blessed, because they are actually doing the work that needs to be done in communities. And you can tell by Kate's demeanor that she has a heart for people, and she's been working at this, and God is opening doors for her. So we want to support her as best that we can. Kate, the time goes
It
so quickly.
does.
It goes so
Does.
quickly. And Sarah said, yes, regrouping is very important. And I want to say to everybody that joined us, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Talk with Taz. Kate, before we go, is there anything burning in your heart, as we would say in the church, that you just got to tell the audience before we leave? I've got Hardcore Grind, Mag, joining us. Thank you for joining us.
I would say, like you just said, you never know when or if it will be you. So all things considered, don't hold back. If it's on your heart to give, give. And I'm glad that I've always been a giver. Even though when my house burned, we didn't get much from everybody else, but we had what we needed because God provided from us being able to go to our 401k, and we still had jobs. We didn't miss a meal. We didn't miss a beat. We had lights, water, even if it was in a hotel. So, all things considered, think about that, and let's help families in need, especially this holiday season.
And Kate, um, it's just interesting that it just reminded me right before we came on, there was a house that exploded today. And I saw it on the news right before we came on. And the newscaster, somebody was saying that the gentleman, the husband, had grown up in that house. And it
Mhm.
was hard for the people in the neighborhood to wrap their brains around what happened. And the mother and I think the daughter, they got out okay. So they just don't know what occurred with this house. But here we are at the holiday time. We're going into our winter months. And but by the grace of God, it could be any of us.
Mhm.
So I say, no matter how small, sometimes people think, oh, I don't have X number of dollars. I can't give anything. Every dime, every dollar, every $5, every $15, it makes a difference. So no matter what you have, if it's on your heart, as Kate said, to give, please give, so that we can continue to be a blessing to others. And Kate, on that note, you're going to have to come back.
I
But
will.
thank you so much for being with me on Talk with Taz. And until next time, guys, remember, before you take care of anyone else, make sure you take care of yourself first. Bye now.
Bye.